of our books gets up and gives a little chat about a book that we sell in the store. And tonight, that talk's going to be given by Schandra.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you so much to Ellis and to Marcia. That was wonderful. Our next segment, as Joe said, is the book talk. And I'm going to be talking about 121 Days by Michelle Odon. In honor of Women in Translation Month for this novel, My Book Talk, I selected the debut novel, 121 Days by Michelle Odon, an acclaimed French mathematician and member of the prestigious Oulipo. Oulipo, a workshop of mainly French-speaking writers and mathematicians who seek to create works using constrained writing techniques, boasts such notable works as Georges Perec and Jacques Roubaud. This novel is only the second book ever published in English by a female Oulipian, rendered here masterfully by up-and-coming French to English translator Christiana Hills, and published by Texas's own Deep Vellum Publishing with gorgeous cover art by Anna Zeilich. 121 Days is truly a poster child for the representation of women in translation, in STEM fields, in art, and in literature. It is difficult to summarize the plot of this novel because the plot is a word problem that is only solvable, and it is solvable, through the reading of it. However, I can say that the focal point is a community of scholars, mathematicians, and their families orbiting around the University of Strasbourg during the First and Second World Wars. As the blog Reading and Translation expertly noted, the daughter of a mathematician who was tortured and killed by French parachutists in the Algerian War, Auden is herself a mathematics professor at the University of Strasbourg. Not only does the university serve as a kind of pole star for the novel's various narratives, mathematicians' daughters figure prominently as nodes where the orbits of these narratives cross paths. It is in these moments where a woman's voice takes over the narration that the novel achieves its greatest emotional resonance. Auden's Oulipian constraints demand that each chapter find its voice in sparse prose, in some instances so extreme that it assumes the guise of hurried notations. Each voice sings loudly and distinctly without overwhelming the choral whole. More concrete literary constraints, showcased in 121 Days, include alliteration, palindromes, anagrams, and acrostics, all of which, more because of their artfulness rather than in spite of it, might go unnoticed to the casual reader. And where one might anticipate that all of these constraints would limit such a book, it rather serves to liberate its form far beyond the traditional novel, oscillating stylistically chapter to chapter, from a fable-like childhood in Africa, to a scholar's historical research, to a reporter's interview transcripts, to the diary entries of a combat trauma nurse, and so much more. Reading this book feels a great deal like guided research or detective work. You might be reading a diary entry and notice a stray detail not immediately expanded upon. You will wonder why it's there or how it relates to what has come before. Then, 2 chapters later, perhaps in an interview or an obituary, the connection will become marvelously clear. Odon draws on the pleasure inherent in discovering the kind of monumental historical coincidences with which the novel is profoundly ripe. 121 Days is a novel for lovers and enthusiasts of works in translation, French literature, history, mathematics, psychology, mystery, poetry, and humanity. If you find beauty in books like The Diary of Anne Frank or the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel All the Lights We Cannot See, I guarantee you will also find it here. And if you're interested in picking it up, it is on the back table if you're interested in it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, everybody, for coming tonight. Thank you to our readers, and I'm sure if you haven't bought and had the book signed already, they'd be happy to do it for you. And remember, all the prose fiction is 20% off.
Thank you.